Leo stepped into the courthouse, his boots echoing against the polished floor. His heart beat fast, and he felt the weight of the whole day pressing down on him. The case against him seemed impossible to fight. He had only tried to improve the design of his spacecraft, but someone had accused him of breaking interstellar law. Leo had always followed rules, but now the rules were being used against him. The courtroom was larger than he expected. Tall glass walls let sunlight pour in, highlighting the rows of chairs for the audience. Judges sat on a raised platform, their robes flowing like waves. The room smelled faintly of metal and paper, a strange mix that reminded him of the spacecraft he loved. People were already seated, murmuring quietly among themselves. Humans, aliens, and hybrids of both watched as the trial was about to begin. Some of the aliens had shimmering scales, some had multiple eyes, and others had long tails. Leo swallowed hard. He walked to his assigned spot and waited, glancing nervously at the prosecution team. They looked confident, their papers neatly stacked, their uniforms clean and precise. The main prosecutor, a tall human named Harlan, stared at Leo with sharp eyes. Leo felt a wave of doubt. How could he possibly defend himself against someone so prepared and powerful? Then, the doors of the courtroom opened with a sudden, heavy sound. A hush fell over the room. Every eye turned to see who was coming in. She stepped forward. The figure was unlike anything Leo had ever seen. She was tall, far taller than any human, with scales that shimmered in gold and green. Her eyes glowed softly, amber and deep, like sunlight on honey. Her wings were folded neatly behind her back, but the tips brushed the floor. She walked with grace, each step deliberate and commanding. She wore a simple black robe, but it could not hide her presence. Every head in the courtroom turned to watch. "I am Zara," she said, her voice calm but strong. "I am here to defend Leo." Leo froze. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. You are my lawyer?" He finally snared. Starter nodded, her gaze steady. "Yes, I will represent him." The judge, a stern woman with silver hair, blinked in surprise. "A dragon? Representing a human in court? Are you qualified under interstellar law?" Zara's eyes narrowed slightly. "I am certified to practice in both human and alien law. My experience spans entire fleets in countless cases. The law is not bound by species, but by knowledge and skill. I have both." Whispers filled the room. People leaned toward each other, some in disbelief, others in fascination. Aliens whispered in their own languages, and humans muttered quietly. Leo felt a mixture of fear and relief. This dragon alien could be his only hope. Harlan, the prosecutor, stepped forward, frowning. "Your Honor, this is unprecedented. A dragon has never represented a human in a courtroom. This is absurd." Zara raised a clawed hand, calm and composed. "The law does not discriminate. A qualified lawyer, regardless of species, may represent any client. I am prepared to proceed." The judge studied her for a long moment. Then she sighed. "Very well. Proceed, Ms. Zara. But know that this courtroom does not tolerate nonsense or theatrics." Zara inclined her head. "Understood, Your Honor." Leo felt a small flicker of hope. He had no idea how she would help, but her confidence gave him courage. He realized that even if the world doubted her, he had someone on his side who could see the truth in ways he could not. The trial began. Harlan laid out the accusations in detail. He spoke of altered spacecraft cores, of dangerous modifications, and of the alleged violation of interstellar safety codes. The courtroom watched, and Leo could feel his stomach twist. He wanted to respond, to explain, but he had no plan, no strategy. Zara, however, simply watched Harlan. She did not interrupt. She did not speak. She only observed after Harlan finished. The judge turned to Zara. "Your defense?" Zara's voice filled the courtroom. "The accusations against Leo are based on incomplete information and false assumptions. The modifications he made were tested, safe, and intended to improve efficiency. Furthermore, there is evidence that these charges are part of a scheme to take control of his spacecraft design." I will prove that the law has been misapplied and that Leo is innocent." Gasps filled the room. Some humans whispered, impressed by her calm authority. Aliens tilted their heads, curious about her words. Harlan's face hardened. He had expected a nervous, inexperienced lawyer, not a commanding dragon who spoke with clarity and precision. Leo watched her closely. He could see that her scales glimmered faintly in the sunlight, that her eyes were sharp, alert, and calculating. She was not just powerful physically. She was powerful intellectually. He felt a surge of trust he had not felt before. Zara continued. "We will review the spacecraft core, the test records, and the chain of command. I request that all evidence be examined carefully. I will demonstrate that Leo's actions were within the law and that no harm was caused." The judge nodded slowly. "Very well. The courtroom will recess while preliminary evidence is reviewed. Both sides will prepare for the first full hearing tomorrow morning." As the courtroom began to empty, Leo approached Zara cautiously. I don't know what to say. I've never had a lawyer like you before. I don't even know how this will work." Zara's amber eyes softened slightly. "You do not need to know everything. You need to trust me. Law is not only about rules. It is about understanding the truth and presenting it clearly. That is what I will do. You focus on being honest and observing. I will handle the rest." Leo nodded. He could feel his fear beginning to fade, replaced with cautious optimism. For the first time that day, he felt he might survive this trial. Later, Leo returned to a small holding room behind the courtroom. He looked at the documents Harlan had submitted. Pages and pages of technical specifications, legal codes, and procedural rules seemed designed to confuse him. He knew he could not read through everything in time, but he felt reassured that Zara would see what he could not. As he sat, he could hear faint thuds from the hallway. Zara was moving outside, perhaps reviewing evidence or preparing for tomorrow's hearing. He wondered what it would be like to work with someone so different, someone so strong and intelligent. He had never met anyone like her, and yet already trusted her instincts more than his own. That night, Leo could not sleep. He stared at the ceiling, imagining Zara in the courtroom. Her wings folded behind her, her claws resting lightly on her desk. He imagined the way she had commanded attention simply by being herself. He wondered what it would be like if she could see the flaws in the system, the hidden motives of his enemies, and expose the truth as clearly as she had spoken in the courtroom. The next morning, Leo arrived early. Zara was already there, reviewing files and test data with meticulous care. She did not speak, but her presence filled the room with calm determination. Leo realized that having her on his side was not just luck, it was a turning point. As the courtroom filled, the murmurs began again. People whispered about the dragon who was defending a human. Some doubted, some feared, some admired. Leo took his seat beside Zara. He felt the weight of the room, but he also felt strength radiating from her. When the judge entered and the session began, Leo knew that everything had changed. This was no ordinary trial. This was a test of courage, intelligence, and the ability to see beyond appearances. And with Zara by his side, he had a chance. For the first time in hours, Leo felt ready. He would face the courtroom, face the accusations, and, with Zara's guidance, prove that truth and justice could prevail. The trial had begun, and a dragon had come to fight for him. The next morning, Leo arrived at the courthouse feeling tense but determined. The sunlight poured through the large glass walls, glinting off the polished floors. He noticed Zara already at her desk, reviewing papers and scrolling through a small holographic display. Her wings were folded neatly behind her, but they seemed to catch the light glimmering slightly. Leo felt both awe and nervousness as he approached her. "Good morning, Leo," Zara said, her voice calm but strong. "Today, we will begin the first full hearing. I have studied the evidence. There are inconsistencies that we can use to our advantage." Leo swallowed. "I don't know much about the law, Zara. What should I do?" "You will observe," Zara replied. "You will answer honestly if questioned. The rest is my responsibility. Law is a battlefield of logic and perception. We must use both." Leo nodded, feeling slightly reassured. He watched as she arranged the files neatly, tapping her claws lightly on the desk. Every movement seemed deliberate, precise. Even her breathing felt measured and controlled, as if she could anticipate every twist in the courtroom before it happened. The doors opened, and the courtroom filled quickly. Humans, aliens, and hybrids took their seats. Some stared openly at Zara. A few whispered to each other. Some even tried to record her on small devices, but the judge quickly warned that no recording was allowed. Leo noticed that Zara ignored the attention. She focused entirely on the evidence and the upcoming trial. When the judge called the court to order, Harlan, the prosecutor, stood confidently. He began his opening statement. He described the alleged modifications to Leo's spacecraft core as dangerous and illegal. He spoke with authority, detailing the interstellar laws that supposedly applied. His voice echoed through the courtroom, and he glanced at Leo, expecting fear or hesitation. Leo felt a knot in his stomach. He looked at Zara. She remained calm, her amber eyes fixed on Harlan. She did not interrupt. She did not even take notes in the usual way. Instead, she seemed to analyze everything with quiet intensity. When Harlan finished, the judge turned to Zara. "Your response, Ms. Zara?" Zara rose slowly, her presence commanding attention without effort. She spoke clearly and calmly. "The accusations against Leo are based on assumptions and incomplete information. The spacecraft modifications were tested under controlled conditions and pose no danger. Furthermore, the documents presented by the prosecution contain gaps and inconsistencies that must be addressed." Whispers spread through the courtroom. The prosecution's confident expression faltered slightly. Zara continued, her voice unwavering. "We request a detailed review of all test data, as well as an examination of communications related to this case. It is evident that Leo is being falsely accused, and we will demonstrate the truth with clarity." Harlan's jaw tightened. He had expected a human lawyer, nervous and uncertain, not a dragon who spoke with precision and authority. He tried to interrupt, but the judge gestured him to remain silent. Leo felt a mixture of relief and amazement. He had no idea how Zara could see through the complexity of the case so quickly, but her confidence gave him hope. He realized that her intelligence was far beyond what he had imagined. After the opening statements, the courtroom recessed for evidence review. Leo followed Zara into a small room behind the courtroom. Harlan and his team were nearby, preparing their evidence. Zara motioned for Leo to sit. "We will need to examine the test data carefully," she said. "Look for what is missing, not what is present. People often hide truth in gaps, not in the information they provide." Leo frowned. "I don't understand. Imagine a spacecraft core," Zara explained. "If you only look at the recorded tests, you see success or failure. But the missing data, the tests that were not included, often show who is trying to mislead the court. We must pay attention to what is absent." Leo nodded slowly, beginning to see the logic. "So, we are looking for gaps, not just mistakes." "Yes," Zara said. "And inconsistencies in behavior, in timing, in communication. The truth often hides in details too small for ordinary eyes." They began to review the data. Holographic screens displayed test results, emails, and procedural logs. Zara's claws moved quickly, scrolling and selecting files. Leo tried to follow, but the speed and depth of her analysis made his head spin. Yet, somehow, he understood the general pattern. She pointed out anomalies he would never have noticed, a missing signature on a test record, a timestamp that did not match the official log, and a message from someone pretending to be neutral. "This is important," Zara said, highlighting a sequence of messages. "These indicate that someone is trying to frame you. They want to make it look like you acted alone, but the evidence shows coordination from another source." Leo felt a flicker of hope. "So this is not really my fault?" Zara's amber eyes met his. "You are innocent, Leo, but we must prove it. Law alone is not enough. Strategy and observation are required." The first day of testimony began after the review. Harlan called witnesses who claimed to have seen Leo tampering with the spacecraft core. Each witness seemed confident, yet Zara remained calm. She questioned them with careful precision, her questions clear and focused. She did not attack, but she exposed contradictions in their stories. One witness claimed to have seen Leo at a specific time, but Zara produced logs showing he was elsewhere. Another said the modifications were dangerous, but technical records proved the modifications improved efficiency safely. Every detail she presented seemed to slowly turn the courtroom in their favor. Leo noticed the jury and the judge leaning in. Zara's method was unusual, but it was effective. She combined human logic with her dragon intuition, noticing patterns that no one else saw. During a brief recess, Leo asked, "How do you know all this?" Zara smiled faintly. "Experience, observation, and instinct. I have defended fleets against corrupt officials, against systems designed to mislead. Every case teaches a lesson. I see the patterns, and I act on them." "You must trust me to see what you cannot," Leo nodded, feeling a sense of trust growing. He realized that Zara's presence was more than just powerful, it was inspiring. He had never met anyone who could face such authority and pressure with calm and focus. The next witnesses were experts on spacecraft design. They spoke in technical language, explaining cores, energy flow, and efficiency. Zara listened carefully, then asked precise questions that revealed hidden flaws in the prosecution's claims. She showed that the modifications were not only safe, but could prevent future problems. Leo watched in amazement. He had spent years designing spacecraft, but even he had not considered some of the angles Zara revealed. She combined facts with insight in a way that made the truth obvious to everyone by the end of the day. The courtroom atmosphere had shifted. The prosecution still argued, but their confidence had weakened. Witnesses who had seemed certain now appeared hesitant under Zara's calm questioning. The judge took careful notes, clearly impressed by the clarity of her arguments. After the hearing, Leo walked with Zara through the courthouse hallway. "I don't understand how you do it. You see everything, notice everything. I don't even know where to start." Zara glanced at him. "Law is not about seeing everything at once. It is about seeing what matters. Focus, observation, and calm reasoning reveal the truth. Humans are often too distracted by emotion or assumption. That is why we succeed." Leo nodded slowly. He began to realize that her strategy was not just clever, it was extraordinary. He felt a small spark of pride. With Zara guiding him, he could face the trial with confidence he had never felt. That evening, back in his small apartment, Leo reviewed the day's events. He thought about Zara's words, about her calm authority, and about the subtle ways she had turned the courtroom in their favor. He realized that this trial was not just about him, it was about justice, its fairness, and the ability to see truth even when others could not. He wondered what the next day would bring. Harlan would surely return with new evidence, new witnesses, new attacks. But for the first time, Leo felt ready. He had Zara by his side, a dragon who saw the world differently, who combined intellect and instinct and courage. As he lay down to sleep, he thought about the courtroom, about the sunlight on Zara's scales, and about the strange, powerful presence of the dragon who had chosen to fight for him. He felt hope, determination, and a growing sense of purpose. Tomorrow, the trial would continue. Witnesses would speak, evidence would be examined, and strategies would unfold. But Leo knew one thing. Clearly, he was not alone. He had a dragon by his side, and together they would face whatever challenges came. The first step had been taken. The unusual lawyer had arrived, the strategy was forming, and the battle for truth had begun. Leo felt ready to learn, to fight, and to trust in a power greater than himself. The courtroom buzzed with quiet whispers as the third day of the trial began. Leo sat beside Zara, feeling more confident than before, yet still aware of the immense challenge ahead. Harlan, the prosecutor, seemed determined to regain his authority. His posture was stiff, his eyes sharp. His voice carried a sharper edge than the previous days. Zara, calm as always, adjusted her robes and opened her files. Her amber eyes scanned every detail, every document. She did not speak until the judge called the court to order. "Order in the courtroom," the judge said, her voice firm. We will continue the proceedings regarding the accusations against Leo. Harlan stepped forward. Your Honor, today we will provide additional evidence to show that the spacecraft modifications were not only illegal, but dangerous. These new witnesses will confirm that the defendant acted recklessly. Leo felt a pang of worry. He glanced at Zara. Her expression was calm, unreadable. He remembered her words, focus, observation, and calm reasoning revealed the truth. The first witness was a human engineer, who claimed to have seen Leo tampering with the core late at night. The witness spoke confidently, describing complex sequences of actions and safety risks. Harlan nodded as the testimony unfolded. Confident that the jury would be swayed, Zara stood, her claws resting lightly on the desk. She spoke clearly, her voice calm but commanding. You claim to have seen Leo performing these actions. Can you confirm the exact times and locations? Are there any logs or recordings to support your memory? The witness hesitated, flicking through notes nervously. I do not have logs, but I remember clearly. I was near the control room. Zara raised a claw, pointing to the technical display. The control room logs indicate that Leo's presence was recorded elsewhere. There is a discrepancy. How do you explain this? The witness stammered, unable to respond. Leo could feel the courtroom tension shifting slightly. Even Harlan's confident expression faltered. Memory is fallible, Zara continued. Documents, records, and verifiable data are more reliable than recollection. We must always examine evidence carefully. The next witness was a drone operator showing video recordings of the spacecraft testing area. Harlan presented the footage, claiming it showed Leo performing unauthorized modifications. Zara studied the footage intently. Her eyes glimmered with sharp focus. Pause the video, she instructed. The technician obeyed. She leaned closer, her claws pointing to subtle reflections in the metal panels. This reflection shows a second person present during the modifications. She said, "Notice the timing of the lights. This individual manipulated the core without authorization. The defendant was not acting alone. In fact, he was not responsible for this sequence." Murmurs spread through the courtroom. The judge raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. Harlan's jaw tightened. He had not anticipated that Zara would notice such subtle details. Leo leaned closer. "How do you see that?" Zara glanced at him briefly. Observation and attention to detail. Humans often miss subtle patterns. Dragons, by instinct and training, notice hidden cues. We combine logic with instinct to see what others cannot. The following hours were intense. Witnesses came and went. Zara questioned each one carefully, exposing inconsistencies and hidden motives. She used both technical knowledge and instinct to reveal the flaws in the prosecution's evidence. By midday, Zara requested a brief recess. She pulled Leo aside to a small room behind the courtroom. "Leo," she said softly, "I have noticed patterns in the documents. There are hidden messages and intentional gaps. Someone is orchestrating this to frame you. This is not a simple case of human error or misunderstanding. It is a deliberate attempt to take control of your spacecraft design." Leo's eyes widened. A conspiracy? Who would do that? Zara's amber eyes narrowed. A rival corporation. They have influence, resources, and the ability to manipulate witnesses. Their goal is to make you appear guilty so they can claim your work. We must uncover the truth carefully. One wrong move could allow them to hide it again. She guided him through the documents, showing patterns in communication logs, altered timestamps, and hidden messages in technical files. Leo realized for the first time that the situation was far larger than he had imagined. "We need to be precise," Zara said. "We will gather evidence to show the conspiracy. Every document, every log, every witness statement must be examined. Then we will reveal the truth to the court." The afternoon session began. Zara introduced new evidence, emails from employees of the rival corporation, showing instructions to falsify records and manipulate test results. She cross-referenced messages with timestamps, demonstrating how the prosecution's narrative was constructed to frame Leo. The courtroom reacted with astonishment. The judge leaned forward, eyes focused on the holographic displays. Members of the jury whispered among themselves. Even Harlan looked taken aback, struggling to maintain his composure. Zara continued, her voice steady and persuasive. The evidence shows that the modifications Leo made were safe and well documented. The danger alleged by the prosecution was fabricated. Moreover, individuals from an external organization attempted to manipulate records and witness testimony to mislead the court. Leo felt a mixture of relief and admiration. He had never imagined that the trial could reveal such a hidden plot. Zara's keen perception and experience allowed her to see the truth buried beneath layers of deception. Harlan tried to interrupt. Objection. This is irrelevant. Zara turned to him calmly. Your objection is noted. However, the relevance is clear. The truth must be revealed to ensure justice. The manipulation of evidence directly impacts the credibility of the accusations. The court cannot ignore deliberate deceit. The judge nodded slowly. Proceed, Ms. Zara. Zara then requested access to communications logs from the spacecraft lab. She pointed out anomalies, messages that were deleted, timestamps that did not align, and unauthorized logins. Each detail she revealed connected pieces of the puzzle, showing that Leo's innocence was undeniable. During a break, Leo asked her, How do you know all this? How can you see the patterns that no one else notices? Zara's gaze softened slightly. Experience and observation. Law is not only about rules, it is about understanding behavior, predicting actions, and noticing details that others overlook. I have trained my senses to detect subtle inconsistencies. Combined with logic, this allows me to see the hidden truth. Leo nodded, feeling a surge of confidence. With Zara by his side, he felt that they could face even the most complicated challenges. The final witnesses of the day were former employees of the rival corporation. Under Zara's questioning, they revealed that they had been instructed to falsify test results and witness statements. Their testimonies were clear and consistent, exposing the conspiracy completely. The courtroom reacted with astonishment. The judge's expression softened, showing clear recognition of Zara's skill. Harlan's attempts to counter the evidence were weak. As Zara had anticipated every possible argument, by the end of the day, the mood had shifted completely. The prosecution no longer seemed confident. Witnesses and jury members looked at Zara with respect and curiosity. She had not only defended Leo effectively, she had also uncovered a plot that could have gone unnoticed. After the session ended, Leo and Zara walked through the empty courthouse. Leo felt exhausted, but exhilarated. I cannot believe how much you uncovered today. The whole conspiracy. It is unbelievable. Zara looked at him calmly. Truth is often hidden, Leo. People try to shape it for their own benefit. Law alone cannot always reveal it. But observation, attention to detail, and calm reasoning can uncover what is hidden. That is what we have done today. Leo smiled faintly. I feel like I am learning so much from you. Not just about law, but about seeing the world differently. Zara's amber eyes glimmered. That is the lesson of every trial. Understanding, focus, and trust allow humans to overcome challenges. You are learning quickly, and that will serve you well in the coming days. Leo realized that this was true. He had faced fear, doubt, and uncertainty, but with Zara's guidance, he had begun to see patterns, notice details, and understand the strength of observation. He felt stronger, more confident, and ready to face the next phase of the trial. As they left the courthouse, Leo looked at the city's skyline. Sunlight reflected off the tall buildings, casting long shadows. He thought about the challenges ahead and the growing partnership with Zara, a dragon who had entered his life and changed everything. The trial was far from over. For the first time, Leo felt hope. With Zara's intellect, experience, and unique perspective, they had not only defended him, but revealed a larger truth. The conspiracy had been exposed, and the courtroom now understood that justice required both courage and insight. Tomorrow, the final phase of the trial would begin. Leo knew that more challenges awaited, more strategies to unfold, and more surprises from the prosecution. But he also knew one thing clearly. With Zara by his side, He had a chance to win, and this chance was not just about clearing his name. It was about proving that truth, intelligence, and courage, human and dragon alike, could triumph over deceit. Leo took a deep breath. The battle was not over, but they had already taken the most important step, uncovering the hidden truth and exposing the conspiracy. For the first time, he felt ready to face whatever came next, knowing that a dragon had. The fourth day of the trial began with a calm energy in the courtroom. Leo felt more confident than ever. He had begun to understand Zara's methods, her careful observation, and her sharp logic. Each day, she revealed more about how to see beyond appearances and uncover hidden truth. He felt that, together, they were becoming a team. Zara was already at her desk when Leo arrived. Her wings were neatly folded, and her claws tapped lightly on a holographic display. She looked at him with amber eyes that seemed to read his thoughts. "Leo," she said softly, "today we will prepare for the critical part of the trial. The prosecution may present new witnesses or evidence designed to mislead the court. We must be ready to respond with precision and clarity." Leo nodded, determined. "I am ready, Zara. I will do whatever I can to help." Zara inclined her head. "Good. Observation, honesty, and calm reasoning are your tools. I will guide you through the strategy." The courtroom filled quickly, buzzing with anticipation. Harlan appeared confident, but Leo noticed a slight tension in his posture. He had learned that Zara's presence made even the most prepared opponents uneasy. The judge called the court to order. "We will continue the proceedings regarding the accusations against Leo. The defense may begin." Zara rose slowly. "Your Honor, we will begin by addressing the latest evidence presented by the prosecution. There are inconsistencies that must be clarified. Additionally, we will examine communications and test data to ensure the truth is fully represented." The first witness of the day was a technician who had worked on the spacecraft core. Harlan asked questions designed to imply negligence on Leo's part. The witness hesitated, unsure how to answer. Zara leaned forward, her wings slightly shifting. "You stated that Leo was alone during the tests. Can you confirm that no other personnel were present? Are there logs or security records to verify your claim?" The technician flipped through his notes nervously. I do not have complete records. I only remember what I saw." Zara's amber eyes narrowed slightly. "Memory is unreliable. Evidence must be precise. We request access to all security logs and communication records. The truth lies in verifiable data, not recollection." The judge nodded. "Request granted. The court will review the records immediately." As the holographic screens displayed the logs, Zara studied them carefully. She pointed out small discrepancies, missing entries, incorrect timestamps, and unauthorized access to the system. Each detail revealed that Leo had not acted alone and that someone else had attempted to manipulate the results. Leo watched in amazement. "I would never have noticed those details," he whispered. Zara glanced at him. "Observation is a skill. You will learn to notice patterns and inconsistencies if you focus." The next few hours were intense. Harlan presented additional witnesses, including engineers and administrative staff. Each tried to support the prosecution's claims, but Zara's questioning exposed contradictions. She showed that some witnesses had been influenced or misled by external pressures. Others had incomplete knowledge of the technical procedures. With each revelation, the courtroom atmosphere shifted. Jury members leaned forward, clearly engaged. The judge listened carefully, taking detailed notes. Harlan's confident demeanor weakened as he realized that Zara anticipated every move he made. During a short recess, Zara pulled Leo aside. "We must prepare for the final phase of the trial," she said. "Tomorrow, Harlan will attempt a last effort to discredit you and present new arguments. We need a strategy that combines evidence, observation, and presentation. You will assist by providing technical insights when necessary and by observing the proceedings closely." Leo nodded. "I understand. I want to help in any way I can." Zara's amber eyes softened. "Good. Trust yourself and trust me. We are stronger as a team." Each of us contributes in a way the other cannot. That is why we can succeed. When the court resumed, Zara began presenting a new approach. She combined technical data with visual demonstrations, using holographic models of the spacecraft core to explain Leo's modifications. She showed how each change improved efficiency and safety. The jury could see the truth in a way that words alone could not convey. Then, she revealed her next insight: the timeline of events that led to the accusations. By carefully analyzing communication logs, security records, and witness statements, she demonstrated that the rival corporation had orchestrated a plan to frame Leo. Every step was intentional, designed to mislead the court and hide their own misconduct. The courtroom gasped as Zara laid out the sequence. Evidence that had seemed confusing or conflicting suddenly made sense. Leo's innocence was no longer just a possibility, it was clear and undeniable. Harlan tried to respond, questioning Zara's methods and suggesting that her interpretations were speculative. But Zara remained calm. The facts support the sequence of events. The anomalies are not speculative. They are evidence of deliberate manipulation. The law requires us to consider all evidence and discern the truth. This is what we present to the court. The judge nodded, clearly impressed. Proceed, Ms. Zara. The court acknowledges the thoroughness of your presentation. Leo felt a sense of pride. He realized that he was learning more than just law. He was learning how to see the world differently. He began to notice details in documents, patterns in testimony, and subtle cues in behavior. With Zara guiding him, he was becoming a participant, not just a defendant. As the day progressed, Zara introduced additional witnesses who had knowledge of the rival corporation's plans. Under her careful questioning, they revealed instructions to falsify data and manipulate evidence. Each revelation strengthened Leo's case and further exposed the conspiracy. The courtroom reacted with astonishment. Jury members whispered among themselves. The judge took notes, clearly recognizing the depth of Zara's strategy. Harlan's attempts to counter the evidence grew weaker. Each time he tried to present a new argument, Zara anticipated it and provided a precise, calm response by late afternoon. It became clear that the trial had shifted dramatically. The prosecution no longer held the advantage. Leo had grown more confident, understanding that the truth, combined with careful observation and reasoning, could overcome even the most powerful opposition. During a brief pause, Leo turned to Zara. I cannot believe how much we have achieved today. The court is starting to see the truth. I never imagined this would be possible. Zara's amber eyes softened. Truth is often hidden, Leo. But when we observe carefully, when we combine intelligence and instinct, it becomes clear. You are learning quickly. Tomorrow, we will present the final evidence and ensure that the court understands the full picture. Leo felt a surge of determination. He realized that this trial was not just about defending himself, it was about proving that intelligence, courage, and observation could reveal justice, even in the face of manipulation and deceit. As the courtroom emptied, Zara remained behind for a few moments, reviewing documents and adjusting holographic displays. Leo watched her with admiration. Her focus, calm, and intelligence were inspiring. He realized that their partnership was more than just lawyer and client. It was a collaboration that combined strengths neither could achieve alone. That evening, back at his apartment, Leo reflected on the day's events. He thought about Zara's strategy, her careful observation, and her ability to see patterns that no one else noticed. He understood that their success was not just luck. It was skill, preparation, and trust. He knew that tomorrow would bring the final phase of the trial. Harlan would attempt to present new evidence, challenge their claims, and sway the jury. But Leo felt ready. He had learned from Zara how to observe carefully, think critically, and trust in the truth. As he prepared for sleep, he thought about the lessons he had learned. Courage was not just about facing danger, it was about facing uncertainty with clarity. Intelligence was not just knowledge, it was the ability to see beyond appearances and understand hidden patterns. And trust was not blind faith, it was belief in the skills, experience, and judgment of those who had proven themselves. Leo realized that he had grown during this trial. He was no longer just a defendant facing overwhelming odds. He was part of a team, learning, observing, contributing to the pursuit of justice. The trial was not yet over, but for the first time he felt truly confident. With Zara by his side, he knew they could face whatever challenges came next. Together they had uncovered the hidden truth, exposed the conspiracy, and demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and observation could overcome deception. Tomorrow, the final hearing would begin. Leo was ready, and with Zara guiding him, he knew that justice would prevail. The final day of the trial began with a quiet intensity in the courtroom. Leo felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was the day everything would be decided. He had grown more confident under Zara's guidance, but he knew that the prosecution would not give up easily. Zara was already at her desk, reviewing holographic displays of all evidence, witness statements, and logs from the spacecraft lab. Her wings were folded neatly, her amber eyes scanning every detail. She did not speak as Leo entered, but her presence filled the room with calm authority.
"Leo," she said softly, "today we will present the final evidence and show the court the full truth."
"Stay observant and honest. Your focus will strengthen our case." Leo nodded, feeling a surge of determination. He had learned to trust Zara's instincts and strategy. Together, they had uncovered the conspiracy that had framed him. And now, it was time to present it clearly to the court. The courtroom filled quickly. Humans, aliens, and hybrids took their seats. The jury seemed attentive and ready to absorb every detail. Harlan appeared more tense than before. He had seen how Zara had dismantled his case over the past few days, and now realized that his victory would not come easily. The judge called the court to order. This session will continue the trial regarding the accusations against Leo. The defense may begin. Zara stood gracefully, her claws resting lightly on the desk. "Your Honor, today we will present evidence that demonstrates the defendant's innocence and exposes the deliberate attempts to mislead this court. The modifications to the spacecraft core were safe, legal, and well documented. Furthermore, there is clear evidence of a coordinated plan by a rival corporation to manipulate witnesses and records." She began by presenting a clear timeline of events, combining logs, emails, and witness statements. The holographic displays showed side-by-side comparisons of the official records and the manipulated data. The jury watched in awe as the inconsistencies became undeniable. Harlan attempted to interrupt. "Objection. This evidence is not verified." Zara turned to him calmly. "The evidence is verified. It comes from independent sources, cross-reference logs, and credible witnesses. The manipulation is documented and cannot be ignored. The court must consider the facts to ensure justice is served." The judge nodded. "Proceed, Ms. Zara. The court acknowledges the clarity of your evidence." Next, Zara called witnesses who had previously been pressured by the rival corporation. Each testimony revealed instructions to falsify records, manipulate tests, and provide misleading statements. The witnesses spoke honestly, acknowledging their previous coercion and confirming Leo's innocence. Leo watched, amazed by Zara's skill. She asked questions that encouraged honesty, avoided intimidation, and allowed the witnesses to reveal the truth naturally. Her dragon instincts seemed to sense the emotions and intentions of each person in the room. The final piece of evidence was a holographic simulation of the spacecraft modifications. Zara explained in detail how each change improved efficiency, reduced risk, and adhered to interstellar safety standards. The jury could see for themselves the precision and care in Leo's work. "This shows the intention and skill of the defendant," Zara explained. "Leo did not act recklessly or illegally. The modifications were designed to improve safety and performance. The attempt to accuse him was not based on truth, but on a scheme to seize his intellectual property." Harlan's attempts to counter the evidence were weak. He had anticipated a standard defense, but faced a lawyer who combined intelligence, observation, and instinct in ways he could not predict. His arguments faltered as Zara addressed each claim with precision. Leo felt a growing sense of hope. He realized that Zara had not only defended him, but it also taught him to observe, reason, and understand the truth in ways he had never considered. He felt stronger, more confident, prepared to face the final judgment. As the court session continued, Zara emphasized the importance of integrity, courage, and fairness. She explained that law was not merely about following rules, but about discerning truth, protecting the innocent, and ensuring justice. Her words resonated deeply with everyone present, human and alien alike. The judge leaned forward, clearly impressed. "Ms. Zara, your presentation has been thorough and compelling. The evidence of manipulation and the innocence of the defendant is now clear. The court will consider all facts carefully." After a brief recess, the judge returned with the final verdict. The courtroom was silent, all eyes on the raised platform. After reviewing the evidence, witness testimony, and arguments presented by both sides, this court finds that the defendant, Leo, is not guilty of any violations. Furthermore, it is clear that a rival corporation orchestrated a deliberate attempt to manipulate records and witnesses. Justice has been served. A wave of relief and joy washed over Leo. He felt his knees weaken slightly as the tension melted away. He looked at Zara, who remained calm, but her eyes held a faint glimmer of satisfaction. "You did it," Leo whispered, feeling awe and gratitude. Zara inclined her head slightly. "We did it together." Observation, honesty, and calm reasoning revealed the truth. "You played your part well, Leo." Members of the courtroom applauded, including some of the aliens who had been skeptical at first. Jury members smiled, clearly impressed by the fairness and clarity of the trial. Even Harlan nodded slightly, acknowledging Zara's brilliance and the undeniable evidence. After the trial, Leo and Zara stepped outside into the bright sunlight. The city seemed brighter, more alive. People passed by, some recognizing Zara and whispering in admiration. Leo felt a new sense of confidence, not just because he had one, but because he had learned valuable lessons about trust, courage, and intelligence. "Leo," Zara said softly, "this victory is important, but it is only a step. There will always be challenges, those who seek to deceive or manipulate. But with observation, reasoning, and courage, humans can face any obstacle. You have learned to see the world in a new way." Leo nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "I understand now. I feel stronger and more capable. Thank you, Zara, for everything." Zara's amber eyes glimmered with warmth. "You do not need thanks. Knowledge, observation, and courage are what creates success. Remember these lessons, and you will continue to grow." The two walked together through the city, a human and a dragon, an unlikely team forged through trust and collaboration. People stopped and stared, some in wonder, some in admiration. The story of the courtroom had already begun to spread, a tale of courage, intelligence, and the triumph of truth. As they reached the edge of the city, Leo realized something important. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and powerful opposition. He had felt doubt and despair. But with Zara by his side, he had overcome every obstacle. He had learned to trust, to observe carefully, and to reason with clarity. He had discovered that even in the face of manipulation and deceit, truth could prevail. Zara stopped and looked at him. "Leo, this is just the beginning. You have proven yourself capable of facing challenges with intelligence and courage. We will continue to fight for justice whenever it is needed." Leo smiled. "I am ready. With you by my side, I feel like we can handle anything." The dragon nodded, her wings glinting in the sunlight. "Then let us continue, human. The universe is full of challenges, and it is time to meet them together." Leo looked out at the horizon, feeling hope, determination, and purpose. He realized that the trial had been more than a fight for his innocence. It had been a lesson in courage, observation, and trust. It had shown him that humans, when guided by intelligence and supported by allies, could overcome even the most impossible odds. Together, Leo and Zara walked forward, ready to face the future. The courtroom was behind them, but the lessons it had taught would stay forever. Courage, intelligence, and truth had triumphed. And Leo had emerged stronger, wiser, more confident than ever. The story of a dragon who chose to defend a human had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that unity, trust, and skill could overcome any challenge. And for Leo, the adventure was only beginning.